The animals learn a lesson they will never forget. Welcome back to Kim Tells Tales, where every story has a lesson. So come closer, little one. Let me tell you a story. Long ago, beside a winding river in the African wilderness, lived two very different friends. One was Crocodile, the other was Buffalo. Whenever an animal was sad, frightened, or in trouble, Crocodile always had the perfect words. "Oh dear," he would sigh. "I'm so sorry. That must be very difficult." His voice was gentle, his face looked full of concern. But after speaking those comforting words, Crocodile simply watched while everyone else did the work. Buffalo was different. He wasn't a creature of many words. In fact, some days he hardly spoke at all. Instead, he quietly rolled up his sleeves, if buffaloes had sleeves, and got to work. He believed kindness wasn't something you said. Kindness was something you did. One sunny morning, Zebra stepped into a thorn bush and injured his leg. "Oh my!" cried Crocodile. "Poor Zebra! I do hope you feel better soon." He stayed beside Zebra, offering kind words. Meanwhile, Buffalo gathered sturdy branches. He helped Zebra stand, he carried him safely home, then he quietly returned to his day. Everyone thanked Crocodile for being so caring. Few noticed Buffalo slip away. A few days later, heavy rain flooded Meerkat's burrow. The tiny family stood shivering outside. Crocodile slowly shook his head. "This breaks my heart," he sighed. "I truly wish I could make everything better." Then he wandered back toward the river. Buffalo arrived without saying a word. He dug fresh tunnels, carried dry grass, and packed strong mud walls. By sunset, Meerkat's family had a warm home again. The little Meerkat pups hugged Buffalo's leg. Buffalo simply smiled and walked home. Another afternoon, Monkey dropped all his fruit from the tall marula tree. "Oh, what terrible luck!" said Crocodile. "I feel so sorry for you." While Crocodile spoke, Buffalo quietly gathered the fruit before it spoiled. He filled Monkey's basket. Monkey thanked Crocodile for his encouraging words, barely noticing Buffalo carrying the heavy basket. As the seasons passed, everyone spoke about Crocodile's kind heart. Few spoke about Buffalo. They simply expected him to help. After all, Buffalo always managed. Then came the hottest summer anyone could remember. The river shrank lower and lower. One afternoon, Crocodile became trapped in thick, sticky mud. He struggled, twisted, pulled, but he couldn't move. "Help!" he cried. The animals rushed over. Monkey whispered, "Should we only tell him we're sorry, like he always does for everyone else?" The wise old tortoise smiled gently. "We always have a choice. We can return kindness with selfishness, or we can show kindness through our actions." Without another word, Elephant pulled, Hippo splashed water, Buffalo pushed with all his strength. The smaller animals placed logs beneath Crocodile. At last, with one mighty heave, Crocodile was free. His eyes filled with shame. "I've spent so much time saying kind things. I forgot that kindness has hands." The animals smiled. Everyone believed Crocodile had learned an important lesson. Several days later, a fierce storm swept across the land. When morning came, Buffalo's shelter had collapsed. His food had washed away. A large tree blocked the path to his water. Buffalo quietly began clearing the heavy branches alone. Animals walked past. "Buffalo is strong. He'll manage. He always does." One after the other, they continued on their way. Watching nearby was little Meerkat, the youngest of the village. The tiny child looked around in confusion, then asked, "If Buffalo helps everyone, who helps Buffalo?" The adult stopped walking. Nobody answered. Little Meerkat continued, "When Zebra was hurt, Buffalo carried him. When our home fell down, Buffalo rebuilt it. When Monkey lost his food, Buffalo filled his basket. When Crocodile was trapped, Buffalo helped pull him free. The little meerkat looked at every grown up. But today, Buffalo needs us. Why is nobody helping? The village fell silent. Even Crocodile lowered his head. For the first time, everyone saw what they had been missing. Kind words are precious, but they cannot lift heavy branches. They cannot rebuild homes. They cannot pull a friend from danger. Only willing hands can do that. Without waiting another moment, the whole village hurried to Buffalo. Elephant lifted the fallen tree. Hippo cleared the muddy path. Monkey gathered food. Zebra repaired the roof. Meerkat and her children filled the cracks with fresh grass. And Crocodile? He worked harder than anyone else. Not because someone asked him to, but because he finally understood. When the work was finished, Buffalo looked around at all his friends. He smiled quietly. Thank you. Just 2 words, but they came from the bottom of his heart. From that day on, Crocodile still spoke kind words, but now his kind words were always followed by helping hands, and the village never again forgot those who served quietly without asking for praise. They learned that kind words can comfort a heart, but kind actions can change a life. And never forget to care for the people who quietly care for everyone else. The end. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with others. Remember too, this story is available in Sesotho.